right. Welcome everyone to Beyond the Black Tag. We are so grateful to be with you. It's just me and Mao today. We're going to engage in a really good conversation with the both of us. We are feeling a very reflective today. We are going to just reflect. We're going to go back and think about some of the things we've spoken about, reflect on ourselves, and kind of give you a bit more information on us. We've become comfortable in this thing. We don't have sticks on our backs that are keeping us up. We've got this thing under control. We're gonna have a conversation reflecting on some of the episodes, and we're gonna talk about some of the terms and phrases and things that we use in terms of mission, in terms of the church, to help our users, non-members and members alike, to kind of understand more about what we go through. And when we use these phrases, use these terms, you can understand that, okay, cool, this is what these guys are talking about. If you ever need to reflect on this again, please come back and take a look at it. And as well as comment down below any other terms that we don't mention that you want to know about, so that we can answer those in the future and be able to tell you that this is what that is and make life very simple and easy for you. So, Mao, what are we reflecting on first, big man?
Sure. First of all, man, I'm just happy to be here, man. It's been a long week. It's been a difficult one. So, this is the tonic to the difficulties of the week. But just some of the church terms. I feel like there's mission terms, but even in the church there's terms that are thrown around that can catch some people off guard. Something like the priesthood. I was thinking now, years ago, there's this guy. I don't wanna make jokes about people, but there's this guy. It's Fast and Testimony Sunday. So Fast and Testimony Sunday is just when people go up to the pulpit. There's no assigned speakers. The bishop or the leader at the time does not go and give a prepared sermon, but just the members of the congregation go and they'll just share what's in their hearts. They'll share their testimony. They'll share what they know to be true. And that's the same week that they will fast, maybe for whatever it is that they wish to fast for in the month. And we do it once a month. So the first week of every month. You can do it multiple times. You can do it less, but generally that's the accepted procedure. But anyways, so this brother, he goes off, bears his testimony, and he comes and he says, I'm grateful for the Book of Mormon. I'm grateful for the missionaries and our priesthoods.
Our priesthoods.
And I thought that was just so funny, man. And me and my friend were just dying. This was back many years ago. So anyways, there's just these terms, So I always imagine somebody sitting in the congregation coming to the church for the first time and they're like, "Oh, priesthoods, like, what are those?" Anyways, so just things like that, just like general terms, like the priesthood. What is that? The Book of Mormon. And one learns a lot, obviously, once you come into the church, what those things are. Priesthood just being authority given from God to people, particularly men. But it places both men and women in the church. But it's just authority to do things on his behalf, like baptize, like bless the sacrament, which is the bread and the water or wine that people partake in remembrance of Christ's emblems. And so that's what the priesthood would be. But there's many other terms in the church that we can dissect all day. So there's those. But then when you go on a mission, there's a whole new set of terms as well, right? The first thing you come across when you get off the plane is the MTC, right? What is the MTC? The MTC stands for the Missionary Training Center, all right? And we can be there for like 3 weeks, basically just getting training on what you'll be teaching for the next 18 months or 24 months or 36 months. Do mission presidents go onto MTCs as well? Like their own?
They have that, yeah. So that's a good question. I think, well, at least I see this from the point of view of COVID, but the mission presidents have their own meeting with the higher authorities, with the 70s and the apostles. so adding that terminology, we've got the apostles, similar to um, the apostles that Jesus had, the 12 of them. Then there's the 70s who work under them, which are just
Yeah.
70 men, not essentially 70. There's more than 70 men, but they're under this group called the 70s, who have this authority to go and teach them because they are an extension of the apostles. So they go and do where the apostles can't go, they send them and say, go further and do that more, stuff like that. So I think it's them. They have their own little MTC or mission presidents seminar
Seminar.
and training for them. And the MTC is just purely for those who are serving missions. Even MLS, mission leadership seniors, couples. Yes, mission leadership senior couples. There's so many terms in this church. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So those ones, those are the older couples, because there's guys like us who are young, sisters as well who are young who go to the MTC, and then there's the older, the senior people who go and serve missions, being couples, being sisters alone. They also go to the MTC, but the mission presidents, they have their own thing.
I remember this, man. It was so powerful. I think that the nice thing I like about the time we live in is the technology and the fact that things are recorded. Things that are meant for a particular group, but you get to benefit from it as well. But I'm thinking of the time when Elder Holland was speaking to mission presidents, I think.
Yeah.
And he's talking about missionaries and the atonement, right? And he says missionaries will reach a point when they find out how difficult the work is, and they'll ask, why isn't it easier, President? Why am I not getting baptisms, President? Why does it have to be so hard? Why can't people just flock to the font? And but I just love, he's speaking to mission presidents here, saying, look, your missionaries are going to ask these difficult questions, and you have to know it's because Christ went through the same thing and everything. But anyways, the reason I bring that up is because even they get training, right? Mission presidents, and get the training from, like you said, general authority 70s, apostles. It's cool, man. Like, this church is amazing, but there's a lot to it. By the way, I did not know. I heard this because I was serving in Joburg.
Yeah.
And Elder Johnny Cole was kind of breaking it down for us, right? Okay. They were feeding us at the time. We were having dinner.
Lucky.
They area 70s, their schedule, and hopefully one of them corrects us if they ever make it to our inbox.
Yeah.
But apparently they also have transfers, bro. Like
what?
They will go, and so the same way that you have like transfers and you have zone conference and all those things, they've got conferences as General Authority 70s, and President Nelson and his counselors and the apostles will reassign them to say, okay, President Dube, you've been in Africa East for the past 5 years. Okay, now I want you to go be like an area 70 in whatever area. I want you to be a first counselor there, second counselor there, and they just like get like moved around the same as missionaries do. And I'm like, that's so wild, bro. Like, this thing doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. So I just thought that's very, very cool when he shared that even them, they kind of get anxious about, when am I going to be called next year?
Imagine that, right? And they're like sent from country to country more than
exactly
from like Soweto to Joburg,
Yeah. So
how was your MTC experience? Because
I loved it, bro.
Hey, okay, go for it. I'll tell you my woes. I'll tell you my woes after you go.
So I'll tell you the things I liked about MTC and the things I did not like. Okay. I loved the food. Okay, got fat in 3 weeks. The food is just amazing, man. I think I was kind of sad leaving because I knew you're not going to get the special treatment again. Nice. I loved, the teachers were amazing. Teachers were, every time, and some of them are my friends now, right?
Yeah.
I have friends, Abo Kanyisane Zitumani, and them, who were my MTC teachers at the time. Powerful, bro. Powerful teachers. But I think that was a great experience just to have teachers who I felt were prepared
Yeah.
and were just distilling this information. You look at them with these glistening eyes to say, "Oh, these guys have probably had like great experiences on mission."
Mm.
So yeah, it was better than I expected. I'll confess that I kind of had a little bit of pride going in because what I know we do here in SA that maybe in other countries that they don't do as much in the more developed countries
Yeah.
is we as young men and women we got with missionaries a lot, right? So for me, before mission, I went out with missionaries a lot, like going to teach. Um, and so I kind of went into the MTC with this idea of, I know what missionary work is,
Mm.
I know how to teach the lesson and all that. So when they were teaching us all these lessons to say, okay, this is lesson one, this is lesson two,
Yeah.
I was like, I know that,
I got this.
But yeah, I got this. But I was surprised. I was heavily surprised the minute I decided to humble myself and kind of go in with this thing of you don't know anything, right? Just
Yeah.
take it as if you knew. The minute I shifted my mind to do that, then it was a whole new experience for me. I learned so much. I picked up so much. So
Sure.
so yeah. So but that's what I would say. It was amazing. Food is great. Teachers were amazing. The friends you make in those 3 weeks was also something amazing. I don't actually think I have anything negative to say about the MTC. Um,
Sure.
yeah, I really don't think for me there was nothing negative about it. It was amazing.
I mean, even the
Get ready
staff,
to train.
the staff are amazing.
Mhm.
I can only say this experience because of working in the office. But like, dude, I didn't have an MTC experience because I'm
Yeah.
a COVID baby, right? I got on
Mm.
mission September of 2020. Um, I got off the plane, arrived at the mission office. They said, here's your trainer, here's your laptop, here's a set of keys for a car. Um, your trainer is going to train you for the next 6 weeks while you're doing MTC for the first 3 weeks of that 6 weeks. And
Yeah.
you've got a car to go around with these other two companionships that are there. So we had a Suzuki Ertiga that
Yeah.
I was driving around, taking that two other companionships because there was two other greenies that came in with me, and so they had their trainers, of course.
Yeah.
And Lapo, I'd only been driving for a month legally with my own license, with the license. I've been only driving for about a month.
Wow.
And I'm in Joburg, in the midst of Joburg, in the midst of COVID. So,
You're living dangerously, yeah?
we're doing MTC online. I was blessed with the teachers. I had Orion Macapella and Stella Manjati, absolute legend.
Mm.
And yeah, we do this thing from, I don't know, like 9 in the morning to 5. That's when we're doing MTC. Then from 5 o'clock to the end of the day, we're with our trainers. We're either cooking, of course, cooking and eating, or doing lessons on the phone, over the phone. And Lapo, they gave me the area Rustenburg, and Rustenburg is an hour and a half away, so we cannot even go into the area as we want. We're literally stuck in the flat, doing everything in the flat. Um, and yeah, by the grace of God, we still had like 2 baptisms or 3 baptisms that transfer because my
Yeah.
trainer was a legend. But other than that, it was just, yeah, you're in the flat and you get up, you go and brush your teeth, eat your breakfast, get ready, and you go sit in front of a laptop and learn from your teachers. So my
Yeah.
MTC experience, very different from most. I don't think
Mm.
I don't think half the people, not even close to a quarter or tenth of people, go through that experience
Yeah.
on mission.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was definitely unique because you were a COVID baby, but
Yeah.
I died. Well,
In
I was
COVID.
completing my mission in COVID. The worst time, like I was like, like if I do this through a phone, and I was just gonna hate it. So I felt like it was a very depressing time. But I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like others were equipped for it. So props to you, bro. Props to
The
you. And was it 3 weeks as well? Was it were you doing it for 3 weeks? How long were you doing it for?
MTC was still for 3 weeks.
Okay. Okay. My
Yeah.
coolest experience though, from the MTC, and I think this also touches onto another term, which is proselyting, right? Or like
Yeah.
one of these words, like, was when we did what we call the MTC experience, right? So I
At the
think it's
end.
week 3, so the final
Yeah.
week there, you get to go into Soweto, right? So the Soweto missionaries liaise with the APs. We'll touch on what APs are, but they liaise with the APs. And I think Soweto being the biggest township in South Africa,
Hmm.
being vibrant, um, that's where you took MTC missionaries to
Yeah.
go talk to people. All right. So it was a cool experience.
Oh my
But you
goodness.
can imagine the build up, right? We've just been practicing doing role plays, doing fake teachings, and now they're like, okay, elders, for the first time you'll go and teach real people, actual people. So the buzz was amazing.
Oh.
But yeah, I think that was one of the highlights, to see the things you've been trained for the past couple of weeks. You can now actually go and implement
Mm.
with real people. People who are the real lives. And that was scary, because again, the same thing. I'm going with my confidence. I know what I'm talking about, right? I've been teaching fake investigators for 2 weeks, so I can do this.
Yeah.
And one person we meet, I remember this so clearly, in Soweto, Dobsonville. This guy, he tells us, so we're talking to him by his gate, and he says, "I don't have time for missionaries, right? I don't have time for preachers. In fact, I don't even know if I don't think I believe in God, because right here in front of my gate, I saw a lady a couple of years ago being stabbed, and this lady had
Oh,
a T-shirt, and she was wearing Jesus on her T-shirt. And these guys, vicious as they are, were stabbing her, right, killing her.
goodness.
And they were like, "No, we're not stabbing you. We're not killing you. We're stabbing this guy on your
Ha!
T-shirt. We're just trying. It's not you that we're hurting." And so, anyways, this guy asked us this question: like, where was God there? Why did God not save her in that moment, right? And again, because I know the scriptures, I'm like, man, I know there's a scripture like this in the Book of Mormon where saints are being burnt alive, and I know now it's in Alma 14, but back then I didn't know where it was. So I'm busy here and I'm standing and I'm scrolling through the Book of Mormon. I'm trying to show this guy, no, we've got answers for you. We've got answers for you. And I think I spent like 10 minutes trying to find it. And the senior missionary now is trying to have a conversation with this guy. And I'm, no, we'll find it. Anyways, this guy gets bored. He's like, no, it's fine. Like, I don't want to talk to you guys. And the missionary I'm with, he's also like, no, it's fine. We can find another day. And I was so bummed going to the MTC. I had an answer for this guy, man. I had an answer for him, but I couldn't find it. Whether it was nerves or whatever. But that's one of the experiences I remember having as a brand new missionary in the MTC, going on my MTC experience. But yeah, so that's what MTC would be, just the training center, and
Yeah.
proselyting would be just the teaching experience. What's the dictionary definition of proselyting, by the way? Like,
Let me
what's
check because obviously we know proselyting, and at least I've seen when I tried to say proselyte on WhatsApp, it changes to like
yeah,
proselytize, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds
proselytize?
yeah. Um,
Like some King James stuff.
do imagine. Let's see, say there's proselyte, then there's proselytize. So to proselyte, okay, it says a person who has converted from one opinion, religion, or party to another.
Hmm. Okay.
Or it says like a Gentile who has
Oh
converted to
yeah, that's the
Judaism.
noun.
How does
Hmm.
that make sense? Because proselyte is a noun.
Yeah, yeah. So if they're saying if you are a proselyte, it's like you are a convert. So it's synonymous to being a convert. Yeah, a proselyte of this religion. Yeah, a convert to this religion. I think that's
Okay.
that's kind of the definition they're going with there.
So
So is there no
proselytize,
proselyte the verb?
so it goes from proselyte to proselytize, the verb. So proselyte is the noun,
Mm.
proselytize is the verb, which is convert or attempt to convert someone from one religion, belief, or opinion to another.
Mm.
So that is
Okay,
what we
I like that.
proselytize, but we use the wrong word. We say we're
Yeah,
proselyting, we're proselyting,
yeah,
but technically you are
yeah.
a
That's interesting.
proselyte.
That's English. I mean,
Yeah.
English is not my mother tongue, so I think they
Exactly.
can forgive us.
I mean, we're not gonna change. It's like
Yeah, no,
millions of
exactly.
missionaries and returned missionaries who literally say we're going out proselyting, so
Yeah,
that.
I'm not
But
gonna change it now.
I think that's crazy. I think what so there's this thing of, and I actually spoke to a leader about this. Um,
Yeah,
and it's just what comes to mind, thing of proselyting, because you go out on the street and you knock on doors, and we came through COVID and things like that. We came to learn that, out of 100 doors that you knock, like one person,
yeah,
can get to you. But then we through the social media and things like that, we got to really learn and see that, um, even those out of 100 people, you could potentially get 50 of those people.
mm,
But it actually changed because we put out ads on Facebook, and we had 100 people knocking on our door, 100 people sending us messages on, I want to learn about Christ, or I want to know about
yeah,
the Book of Mormon. I want to do this. And it was just our job as missionaries to answer those messages, answer those questions, and say, okay, cool.
yeah,
Let me help you. And us phoning people and saying, hey, we'd love to teach you about this. We got a message that you um, wanted to learn more about the Book of Mormon. We had 2 missionaries who want to come and help you, and so on and so forth. We had a whole thing.
mm,
And then I came home and I was trying to translate that skill. You know, at the end of your mission, you have a certificate that says, okay, you're good at this returned missionary can uh, budget, project management, all these skills that he's gained off his mission. And so I think the one thing that we struggle to do as return missionaries is translate those skills into life. And I struggled, still struggling, but I'm getting the groove of it. And I think that's also why a lot of return missionaries thrive in sales, because that's pretty much what you've done for 2 years. You've literally sold the
mm,
gospel to people. You presented it to them and said that this is how you can benefit from this, and they buy it. You know, um, that's a
yeah.
very that's a very temporal way of looking at it, but essentially that's what we're doing. We've
But
got
but that's what I want to ask. I don't want to disturb your
yeah,
train of thought. So but because you said you struggled with putting some of those principles you learned into everyday life,
yeah,
whereas I feel like it should be pretty natural. So I just want to know, like, for you, where was the struggle? With which skills did you struggle a
yeah.
bit more with? I mean,
Okay,
but continue what you were saying. Mhm.
yeah. So my struggle was I came home into an environment, and it wasn't the same as on mission. So I had to like start again, because I came into a new environment, and I'm like, well, how do I work this environment? And I tried to figure out how to work the environment instead of translating my skills, where it took
Mhm.
much longer to do daily scripture study. It took much longer to go out and minister to people. It took longer
Yeah.
to make a phone call and call the people that I'm supposed to minister to, because I'm trying to figure out how to work this area. I looked at it
Mm.
as a new area that has its own issues and problems and challenges that are not on mission. So that was
Yeah.
where the struggle was with me. And now going to that translating of skills, um, of course on mission we have a higher power that's helping us more of the time. We have the spirit like every single day. Now when you come home,
Yeah.
you don't need the spirit as much as you need it on mission. So you don't have it
Mm.
as much. But at the times when you're testifying and talking about the scriptures, that's when you need it. So you're preparing the spirit when by doing those things every day. So
Yeah.
I was struggling to translate those skills of, okay, I know how to speak to people. Um, I know I can make a call with I know how what rejection feels like. Um,
Yeah.
I've gained some other skills and other things I've learned about, like borders, cars, um, or office work, admin work using Microsoft Excel, and so on and so forth. We gained some of those skills on mission, using Google Drive and all these nice things. And so it's just translating those and saying, okay, cool, how do I do that here? And I think the one thing that I was told by one of my by one of the mission leaders, one mission couple, he said, go and do literally go and do short courses on things like time management. Um, Go and do those things because those will help you to translate those. Because you'll be like, I've done this on mission. I know how to do this.
Mm,
I'm sure I can
mm,
do this again. And
mm.
it's just then that's where it comes. It's continuous learning. We tend to be
Yeah.
prideful, as you were saying, how you went into the MTC being like, I know what I'm doing. We came into the world.
Mm,
I came into the world thinking I know what I'm doing. I can work this,
mm,
and then I fell, and had been
mm,
falling forever until I had to pick myself up and
mm,
say, okay, fine, I don't want to fall anymore. This is painful,
mm,
and
mm,
let's go for it. Let's try new things. Let's do those short courses. Let's um, you know, all these things, just trying again and try and fail and try and fail until it becomes a habit that I want to keep and keep going and things like that. So yeah, that was my experience coming home. And that's why I
mhm.
stressed about feeling alone and things like our first episode we spoke about that part of, we just feel alone. And our purpose
Yeah.
channel is to bring a communities, to bring people together to say, hey, we're not alone. There's people that are going through the same
Mm,
issue. Why are we not speaking
mm,
about it? Let's speak about it. Let's
mm.
let's have a heart to heart. Let's say that, okay, I'm struggling. Are you struggling? Cool. Let's struggle and figure out how to get out of the struggle together.
Together, yeah. Yeah.
Double.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, and I can imagine because it's easy to do something if like there's a template or you can do it in a certain setting.
Yeah.
It was easy for me to wake up at 6:25 every day
Yeah.
on mission because there's a companion that if I don't wake up, he's probably gonna think I'm some sort of fishy guy.
Someone to,
And
yeah,
so
right.
it's easier to wake, you know what I mean? But now you're home, who's keeping tabs? If you wake up at 9 or 10, so it's not that you didn't learn the skill, it's just that um the environment is different, and the pressures are different. So I'm with you. And for me, on mission, you have to talk to people. Otherwise, what are you doing with your time?
Yeah.
Now you're trying to translate that into sales, and maybe it's a bit more difficult because the reward is different as well. I
Correct.
tried sales.
That's so
I
true.
tried sales for an insurance company coming back home. Um, it was difficult. Look, naturally, I can speak to people, companies, whatever. But I think with this one, what was so tough for me was I didn't believe in the product I was selling. You know,
Yeah.
like even myself, like I was like, I wouldn't take this, I wouldn't use this. So now
So how do
imagine
I give
trying to
it to
sell
another
that to
person?
someone. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Like you're trying to. I feel like sometimes people could see, nah, this guy is scripted. Whereas when I was a missionary, it's coming from within.
correct.
I'll knock on the last door even at 9:15 because it's something that you feel inside. So I think, yeah, I can see how it can be a challenge to you've gained these skills. They're on your CV, they're on your certificate,
Correct.
but putting them now into the real world or the working world. I'm not going to say the real world, but the working world, and it's not as easy as you would think it would be just to translate them.
Mm,
I want to go back to the field. So you you leave the MTC, you
yeah.
go into your first area, you get a trainer. Okay, what is a trainer? What is a district leader? What's a junior companion? What's a senior companion? What's a zone leader? What's an AP?
Okay.
Just those terms, the shock for you as well surrounding those things.
Um, I think the one thing I want to say quickly is uh, there's a difference between us, like South Africans or Africans who go on mission versus like Americans who go on mission. Because
Okay.
the Americans who go on mission, their parents and their parents' parents and so on and so forth have served missions, and they were zone leaders and assistants and all these leadership roles on mission. And
Mm,
we, majority of us, are first generation missionaries, if not even first generation members of the church.
mm,
And we get onto mission and we have no clue what these that there is leadership. We just know we're going to serve the Lord. Then we get on mission
Yeah.
and realize that there's different ways to serve the Lord. There's leadership
Mm.
positions to serve the Lord,
Mm.
to serve the Lord, to serve the missionary, to serve people. There's different ways to do this. And this was the thinking I had to gain on mission, is that a leadership role is not a position of high power, not a position of high authority. It's a it's a way to serve. It's another way to serve. So it's
Mm.
not a hierarchy. It's a, I don't know how to picture it, but everyone is on the same level. I just have to take
Mm.
care of you, you know, and make sure you're okay and you okay to do your work because of the skills and the understanding of life that I have. So as a new missionary, you walk in and we use the term greenie, right?
Mm.
Which is a derogative way of saying a very brand spanking new missionary, normally under 6 months. And when you get on mission, you get a trainer. I think this is probably the best and easiest time for a new missionary, but as well the most difficult because you're adjusting to being on mission. And you spend 12 weeks, or supposed to spend 12 weeks with your with your trainer, and they're teaching you all about mission. You've got 12 weeks to get going and to get understanding with mission. And at that
Mm.
time, in that 12 weeks, your trainer is the senior companion, and you, as the new missionary, are the junior companion. Meaning that if anything wrong is supposed to happen, if anything wrong happens, or anything good happens, the person who takes responsibility is the senior companion. Um,
Yeah.
I laughed. One of the senior couples wanted us to make them the trainer and make their husband. So the wife made we made her the trainer and the husband the junior companion. It was the funniest thing. Although it
Wait,
didn't.
why were you doing this? Was it an activity like were you teaching an object lesson or something?
No. It was messing around with the transfer board.
Oh, I see. I see. That's funny.
So yeah, that's like simply with a new missionary. Something you wanted to say or point out.
Yeah, no, I think I agree. That's exactly what it is. I don't know if, I think you did comment on it. I don't know if being a brand new missionary is the easiest time, but I think it is. I think it is because there's no responsibility. Maybe, but it can probably be a bit frustrating with all the learning. Like you have to go through the 12 weeks program and
Right.
you have to watch all these videos. Maybe it's a lot of adjusting, but yes, it's definitely easier in terms of responsibility because you have none. So
Yeah.
I think I agree with that.
That's what I would
I
say
agree.
as well. It's the
Yeah.
responsibility that you just have none. You don't have to stress about the work. Your trainer is going to sort out everything and you need to follow. But the hard part
Yeah.
is okay, I need to get used to this because eventually he's going to leave and I'm going to be on my own, you know?
Yeah.
So I need to learn to
Yeah.
take responsibility.
It's funny though, speaking of that, because I'm thinking now, if you're a brand new missionary, you go to an area, you guys are getting zeros, you're not finding people to teach you anything. You can't feel too bad. Like, oh, companion, is this how it's been for the past couple of months? Yeah. Okay, cool. Like,
This
like
is how you work?
you're not gonna
Fine,
be
I
like,
can do this.
oh, yeah. Whereas if you're on the other end, because I've been on the other end too, where my trainer, I was his last companion. So I was the one who was killing him or finishing his mission off,
Yeah.
not killing him literally. Um, but but after him, I trained.
Okay.
Terrible.
Terrible.
It, it was the scariest time of my life. Till this day, I do not know if there was anything scarier than that.
No.
Um, than that time for me because um, so I was in Swaziland.
Oh
We're
wow.
driving from Joburg, the mission office. I just
Mm.
got my companion. He does not speak any English. Okay, the Portuguese Brazilian man, Elder Guilherme Silva de Souza. Love him to bits. Funny man. Elder Souza. Um, Shout out Souza. Hopefully you're watching this.
My man.
And we're driving back to Eswatini. It's like a 4 hour, 5 hour drive. I can't remember how long it was. And the GPS also threw us off. So we're driving at night. So because it's dark, nobody can see me, and I start to cry as well a little bit. And I'm crying because I'm 9 weeks in on mission. I'm not sure if I've got the area down. There's no maps or anything. You just have to remember where the person's house is that you're gonna teach. I don't know if I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing, basically, you know. And here it is. The mission president entrusted me to train someone. I don't know if I know the area well enough. And you have to teach. You have to teach a language too. And just it was overwhelming, bro. Like it was super overwhelming. I think till this day that was one of the hardest. I think that was the hardest assignment I had on mission, because you don't know what you're doing. I think had I had that maybe a year in, or maybe not even a year in, but like towards the end of my mission was going to be easier, because then I would have had confidence. I know what I'm doing, you know. But right now you were being trained just yesterday. Now you all of a sudden have to train. So, anyways, but yeah. So okay. So there's the junior companion. There's a senior companion. There's a trainer. There's the greenie who's being trained. There's a district leader, right? So the district leader would be the person assigned to be, I guess, the leader, again, the one who answers for things that are happening in their district. And a district usually would consist of either 2 companionships or more, right? So maybe between 2 and 4 companionships, depending on the size of the mission and the amount of areas as well. So they are the ones who would be like the leader for that district. And then there's a zone leader, or the zone leaders. Usually there's 2 of them. So the companionships consist of the zone leaders. And they are just over the zone, and the zone consists of a couple of districts as well. So there's again 3, 4, 5 districts would make up a zone. And then the zone leaders are the ones who are assigned to assigned to just make sure that the affairs in that zone are in order. Missionaries are doing what they're supposed to be doing, and the work is moving along smoothly. I want to comment on something you said earlier on, which is very important, but I still feel like even though we know it, right, we understand the principle, we still have this people. It's one of those things where you're like, I know the truth, but at the back of my mind, I still do it. Where you feel like, if I'm a district leader, I've been promoted. You know, I'm a zone leader, I've been promoted. I'm an AP, I've been promoted. You again, you view it as a promotion. You view it as, oh, you know, and like, how can that be debunked? Because it's not true. Like, it's not. It's not anything. It's you're given a position of responsibility. Sometimes the Lord wants you to learn something more than people having to learn things from you. You know, and again, look, I'm pretty sure mission presidents are trying to develop leaders, right? And so it would be seldom that a missionary would go through their whole 18 months, their whole 2 years without being given a leadership assignment, or again to develop them as people. They're gonna go home, they're gonna serve in callings, and so you develop them. But how can that myth be debunked, to say, because it is a myth to say a district leader is important, a zone leader in this. What do you think?
So we fought with this. I had a lot of conversations with this, especially on mission, because it definitely, what I can say for men is, becoming a leader of some sort, it definitely does something to your testosterone and gets to your head, and you begin to behave funny. We were your friends yesterday, now you become a leader, now we're not friends, and not in a way that we're trying to like undermine your leadership, but more in a way that you've changed. You're not it's like you're not Elder Chagadama as a leader. You've now become someone else. You're now trying to fill some other shoes, instead of we knew Elder Chagadama. Now we just see him in this leadership position doing his best as a leader, still knowing who Elder Chagadama is and how he is. He's still putting everything and just doing more. But now he's changed. He's become, Elder Robot, and now Elder Robocop, and now he's a robot cop that is just chasing after you and telling you to follow the handbook because you're doing you tied your tie wrong or something, something like that. That's the one thing that I didn't appreciate when I saw it. And I swore that if I did get into a leadership position, I don't want to be like that. I want to be me.
I have a question on that though, right? Because I feel like I was on the other end of the very same scenario, right?
Yeah.
Where you feel, because you fear that, right? I've always been the type of person I am. There are rules. We all know the rules, right? We're all missionaries consecrated. There's the handbook. Let's just keep it, right? I can be the junior companion. I can be anything. That's just, it's the standard. But I always felt the pressure to be the cool guy when I was called into a leadership position, because I did not want people to construe it as, oh, he's aspiring, or he's turning into a robot or anything. So I kind of found myself doing the opposite sometimes, where I'm like, ordinarily, I'd probably be, hey, companion, listen to that music, right?
Yeah.
But now, because I don't want to be construed as this type of person, you kind of have a dialogue with yourself.
Yeah.
But I never was. I promise you. You can ask any of my companions. I was still true to myself. But that fear was always there to say, or the fear of, this is me, but I feel like someone will say I'm doing this because now I've been assigned to a leadership position. You know what I mean? And that was very difficult. In fact, President Levitt shamrocked us once. Okay, so we're serving his assistance. Something is happening, and we don't feel good about it, right? We're like, this is not good.
Yeah.
And anyways, it comes up in one of our meetings. President asks, okay, what's happening? How's everything going? And it comes up, and instead of I think President's gonna be like, yeah, no, you did the right thing by just kind of letting it go and everything. He went off on us. Leadership is lonely. Like you will not be popular as a leader. Like, people are gonna hate you. Just because you're trying to be liked, just because you're trying to not offend, that defeats the purpose. People are gonna be disobedient now, and you're just gonna let it go because you're trying to not offend, or you're afraid of that particular stereotype because it's there. Missionaries are gonna say, that guy is just like this because he's serving in that capacity, or and so it was that fine way. But when he reprimanded us, I felt it, because I was like, man, this is crazy. He's like, no,
he's talking to
you have to be willing to be unpopular. Yeah, man. So anyways, I just bring that up to say, is it a thing of this person is becoming a robot, or they're doing what they're supposed to be doing? Like they are not condoning disobedience, or they are calling out what needs to be called. They're doing what a leader is supposed to be doing, because I found it many times, long before I was called to serve in leadership positions. You would hear other missionaries saying, yo, he's aspiring, or he's trying to be this person. Oh, this person has changed. When we started out as missionaries, he was not like this. And you start to become scared now. Oh, one day if I get called into leadership, I'm not going to do that. But then it just defeats the purpose. Like, you can't now call out things that are disobedient or bogus because you're scared of labels. You're scared of things like that. So anyways, I was just bringing that up because I think I was on the other end of it.